Good day, good day, good day. Yes, good afternoon. Everyone is 12 p.m. Yes, it is time for English Home Language Grade 9. I welcome everyone who is a part of us, the part of the lesson today. If you are there, please say hi in the chat. Let us see who is with us today. If you are there and you are part of our lesson today, please say hi in the chat. Let's see who is with us today. Yes, it is 12 p.m. It's time for grade 9 English Home Language. Remember, this is still 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 English grade 9 Home Language. Okay, so good in the chat to see the names that which I know, as well as a few new names. Okay, and then in the chat I see Tando saying today is a birthday. Happy birthday, Tando. Happy birthday to you. We wish you a good one. May you enjoy your day. Keep well, take care, grow up. May you grow up and be a wonderful person, a great contributor, a wonderful citizen of our country, of the world. Happy birthday to you, Tando. We wish you all the best in your life with your career aspirations, the desires of your heart, wishing you all the good things in life. Keep well, take care, and we hope you will enjoy today's lesson and that you can take today's lesson to be like a birthday gift to you of some sort. Yeah, so happy birthday to you, Tando. Happy birthday. Please enjoy your day and also enjoy your lesson. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy your day. Okay, so yes, today we will be revising the process writing method. Remember, next week it is our assessment week, and there will be a point where you are asked to write a transactional text. Therefore, it is important for us to revise the process writing method so that you can be better ready for next week when you have to write something. Okay, so thank you so much for joining us again today. And once again, happy birthday to you, Tando. Enjoy your day and please stay for the lesson and also enjoy the lesson. Okay, let's continue. All right, so as I have said, today's lesson is about the process writing of transactional text. So I've said this before and I say it again, that writing is a skill, and that the more you do more of it, the more it improves. Okay, so writing is a skill. The more you write, the more your writing will also improve. So that is something for you to remember, that for you to become a better writer that which you are at the moment, you need to write more. So as you write more, that is you practicing. And the more you practice with your writing, the more you can become proficient at it. And remember, as the saying goes, practice makes perfect. Yes, another quote is about writing. There's no greater agony than bearing an untold story without you. It was told by Maya Angelou. I think you know about her, how she has experienced a very difficult childhood. So yeah, that's her who said this. So it is also the same also with you, that if you are going to write a transactional text and then you realize that there are some things that which you should have written but then you didn't write, you will feel such agony. You really feel sad over it, that oh no, I missed out on idea number 5, I missed out on this and that, and that is not a very good feeling. So therefore, that is why we are revising the process writing method, so that you can learn strategies so that you can avoid having to feel like that by the end of you writing. So there are the steps for the process writing method. So there are the steps. it is 6 of them, and you realize that all these steps, they should follow this order. Okay, so they should follow this order. Never ever scramble this order. Okay, so this is the chronological order. All right, so do not do anything before the other one. Okay, so this is how you should be doing it. This is the order that which you need to follow with the process writing method. So number 1 is planning, 2 is drafting, 3 is revision, 4 is editing, 5 is proofreading, and then 6 is presenting. So you need to remember that. You need to remember that. Okay. So I'm just gonna leave this for a few seconds for you to really look at it before we go in depth about all these steps of process writing. Okay, so yes, that is what today's lesson would be all about. So you need to remember that when you write, it is important for you to plan carefully, okay? I think of writing in the same way as building a house, okay? So if you want to build a house, you do not just wake up one morning and say, I want to build a house. And then you go to the hardware store or you go to wherever to buy bricks and everything. No, before you even get to that, you decide that you want to build a house. Then you need to know what kind of a house you want to build. You know, is it going to be a house, a 5-bedroom house? Is it going to be a double story? You know, are you going to have an attic in the house? Are you going to have a basement in the house? You know, those are the things that which you need to think about. Also, in your yard, are you going to build back rooms, you know, a storeroom or things like that? So you need to think and plan about those things. So it is also the same with writing, okay? So it is important that you plan carefully before you write. Remember what I have said when we started. I said that writing is a skill, and again, writing is a process, okay? Since it is a process, then you have to do it one step at a time, okay? And each step will build on what you did before. So as you can see from all these steps, the first one is to plan. After you've planned, you are going to draft based on your planning. After that, you're going to revise what you've drafted. You're going to edit what, you know, so all these steps, so each and every step, it depends on the steps that which came before it, okay? So writing is a whole process, therefore you need to go it one step at a time, okay? So let us go through all these steps one by one. Okay, but first of all, this is the most important thing. Remember that before you write any transactional text, you read the instruction and you understand it first. Okay, so that is the most important thing. Where you read the instructions and then you come to understand what those instructions or those questions require from you. Okay, now that we have got that out of the way, let's continue. Yeah, step one is planning. So in step one, first you identify the type of transactional text. Okay, yes. So before we get to that, let us refresh our memory about the different types of transactional text. Okay, so for the next 2 minutes, let us name the types of transactional text that we should know. Which transactional text are you expecting to be asked about next week? Okay, so yes, whatever transactional text you know or you've heard of, please write it in the chat. Let us refresh our memory about what transactional texts are. for just a minute. I'm giving you a minute to text the transactional text that we should know. All right, okay. Why does it seem okay? Let's see in the chat. I have Tando, the birthday girl, saying diary entry. I'm sure that is what you write to write. Okay, Tando. Yes. Yeah, I know that's what Tando would like to write. And Tando, I hope you will write a diary entry for yourself today when you write about how your day was. Okay, when you write about how your birthday was, who did what for you, and everything like that. Okay. So yes, a diary entry. It is a transactional text. Thank you, Tando, for that. Then we have a day's thing, magazine text or narrative text. And then we have Bugs saying invitations and speeches. And then we have Bugs saying obituaries. So that is all I have got from you. So let me add with the ones I have written in the slide. Okay. So we have an essay and with an, okay, you are in grade 9. So I'm sure by now you know the different types of essay that which are there. We have the narrative essay, the discursive essay, the expository essay. So all those types of essays, they are transactional text, okay? So here when we say essay, we mean all of them, okay? And then we have Bugs saying autobiography. Yes, autobiography is also, yes, yes. Thank you, thank you. And then we have for an official letter, sometimes also called a formal letter. So this is the letter that we should write to companies, to a CEO, you know, so like it is very formal. So you can think of a formal letter as if like it is you wearing your formal clothes, you know, your tuxedo, your suits, your formal shoes. If you are a woman, if you are a girl, you can think of it of yourself wearing heels, a pencil skirt, you know, a formal shirt, probably with glasses. Yeah, something like that, you know. So that is a formal letter. And if you remember well, you will remember that a formal letter has two addresses, where one address is your address and the other address is the address of the recipient or the person or the company that which you are writing the letter to. And then we have a friendly letter, which is an informal letter. So with this one, this is the one you write to your friend, to someone you are friendly with. And here it only has only has one address. So it has only your address. Yeah, you know, only one address in a friendly letter. And then there is the agenda of the meeting where, yes, they talk about what a meeting would be all about, what will be talked about in a given meeting. And then we have minutes. So minutes they talk about what happened in a meeting, who said what was agreed on, what are the issues, what were the issues which were raised in the meeting, and yeah. Then we have a speech. So a speech is usually those that we do with public speaking. You know, that maybe they can give you a topic and say, write about the impact of coronavirus on the education system, for example, and then you research and you prepare a speech about that topic, and then you later come and tell us and tell everyone and present your findings, you know. Yeah, so that is a speech. Then you also have an email. Can someone tell us what an email stands for? What does an email stand for? Okay, so we have email as well as SMS. So what does email and SMS stand for? Okay, what does email stand for? Do you all know what email stands for? Okay, let's see in the chat. We have Tando saying email stands for electronic mail. Yes, Tando, that is true. And SMS stands for short messaging service. Yes, that is true. Thank you so much, birthday girl Tando. Yeah, you really are making your life to really be felt. You really are making your presence to really be felt today. It is almost like you are making us to feel how this class was going to be today without you. But since you are here, you are born today, then you are making a difference in the class. Thank you so much for your comments, for everything that which you are throwing up in the chat. Yes, so thank you so much, Tando. Thank you so much. Okay, another one, we have an interview. Yes, an interview is also transactional text. Okay, I think we have not done it with grade 9, but I remember doing it with grade 8. Yeah, so with the interview, that is when, okay, you know what happens in an interview, okay, but with the transactional text of an interview, that is when what was happening in interview is written down. Okay, that is when the exchanges of the people in the interview has been recorded on paper, so that even us who were not there in the interview, we can read and find out what was happening, and you can also read and understand what was happening. Yes. And then we have a report. Then we have a curriculum vitae. I know at this stage you probably have not written it, but eventually in the next few years you will. So a curriculum vitae, also known as a CV, it is the document that which we use, when you are looking for a job, for a sponsorship, a scholarship, a bursary, or what. So the curriculum vitae, it includes your personal information, your educational qualifications, your career aspirations, your work experience, as well as the contacts of people who know you, who can attest to what you say. Okay, so yeah, curriculum vitae, it is a very important transactional text you will really have to learn to know how to write in the near future. Okay, yes, so do not compromise on that. Do not compromise on the curriculum vitae. Okay, we have the birthday girl Tando asking, say, if you write an interview, do you write it in a dialogue format? Yes, Tando, exactly. That is how we write an interview. Remember, we said that in the interview, an exchange between the people who were in that interview is recorded on paper. Okay, so therefore, the best way to capture that is when you write it in a dialogue format. Okay, so for example, Tando, if it was me, I was the CEO of whatever company, and then you were coming to, and you were coming for an interview in my company. Then you have to write the interview. Then you are going to write me and you in that interview. Okay, so you are going to write my name, okay, Mr. Muyeng, and then you're going, okay, let us say in the interview I asked you, why do you think you are the best candidate for this position? And then you Tando, you tell me why. So even in that interview, when you write it down, you will include that. Okay, you will write Mr. Muyeng, then a colon, and write there, why do you think you are the best candidate for this position? And then after that, on a new line, you write Tando, and then you write whatever that which you would have said. Okay, yes, and then you should remember that even though we write it in dialogue format, but we do not use quotation marks. Okay, there are no quotation marks. There are no quotation marks in an interview, unless except if the people in that interview were quoting someone else. Okay, otherwise no, there are no quotation marks. Okay, so the things that which those people in the interview say, they are not to be quoted. They are not to be written in the quotation marks. Okay, then the next one we have the diary entry. So the diary entry, that is when you write about, it's like you are reflecting about whatever that which happened. Okay, yes. Like I have already made an example since it's Tando's birthday. I said in that instance, you'll be writing a diary entry about how your day was, you know, how you felt today, the things which happened today, and how those things made you feel. So a diary entry, it is very personal. It is you as a person who speaking with the paper that which you are writing on. And then there is this one of giving directions. So giving directions, it is a very, very interesting transactional text. Last time I did it with the grade 8s where, where we were giving directions like about how to give a person directions to get somewhere. And I remember we also did an activity where we were giving directions, where we were writing to a friend how they can make ice cream for themselves. It was very interesting transactional text to write. It was very interesting. Then we have the advertisement. Yes, you know about the advertisement, you know, like the printed advertisement where they advertise a product or a service or any event, and you have to analyze it and answer questions. But in this instance, you can also be required to design an advertisement for a certain product. Okay, so what that does is that it does really excite you. It does make you to really be creative. Okay, yes. And then there are also posters or flyers. Yeah. And also the obituary. So obituary, it tells us about the life of a dead person, you know, when they were born, what did they do with their lives, as well as maybe briefly about their accomplishments, as well as the people who are surviving them. You know, if maybe it's a man, it's an old man dying, then at the end, they also talk about how many kids he had, you know, how many kids he had. He's being survived by his wife and kids and sisters and brothers and whoever. Okay, yeah, so these are some of the transactional texts, and some of them you may be asked to write them, and I can assure you that next week you will be asked to write one, if not two of them. Unfortunately, I cannot tell you which one. Okay, I cannot tell you which one, but that is what you I can't tell you which one today, but that is something that we should remember. Because remember, in today's lesson, we are not really focused on a certain transactional text, okay? But we are really focused on the process writing method, since we use it with every type of transactional text, okay? So what I would like to ask you now is that if there is any transactional text that which you do not know how to write, please write what that transactional text is in the chat, okay? So which transactional text don't you know how to write it? You don't know its format, you don't know how to write it. So please tell me what that transactional text is in the chat, okay? All right. Okay, let's continue with our process writing method. So step one is planning. So here you identify the type of transactional text, okay? Is it an informal letter? Is it a postcard? Is it an essay, whatever? Okay, therefore you just put it there. Okay, so therefore you identify it. That is the most important thing first. After that, you choose the correct format. Okay, you choose the correct format, because all of these transactional texts, they have different formats. We write an essay with paragraphs, but with giving directions, we use point form, we use sentences, okay? We do not use paragraphs. Okay, with advertisements, you will realize that mostly where you will have to use pictures or images. Okay, with a formal letter, we know that we write two addresses. With an informal letter, we only write one address. You see, so all these transactional texts, they have their different formats. Therefore, it is important that after you have identified the transactional text that which you need to write, then the next thing is to identify its correct format. Then next up, you choose the suitable language conventions. Okay, so what this means is that you make sure that whatever it is that which you are writing, you write it in a formal language. Okay, yes. Remember the LOLs, the what they have been discouraged. Yes. So step 2, which is another planning. So when you get here, what you do is you brainstorm your ideas. Okay, and I prefer that you use a mind map, because that is how a person thinks. And a good thing with a mind map is that even if you can think of your first idea as the last idea, it's okay, it's fine, you know. Yes, that is the thing about the mind map. You don't have to pressure or stress yourself about how your ideas will follow each other logically, you know. But because here you're still planning, so it doesn't matter what comes first. Whatever idea comes to mind, you just list it, you just write it down. But if you do not like to use a mind map, it's okay. You can simply list your ideas. Okay, you can write your ideas a list, it's fine. So it is okay. Then as you are doing this, you identify the main ideas. Okay, after you've brainstormed your ideas, surely there are those which are the main ideas, and you realize that without a main idea, then you really have nothing to work with. So the main idea really is like that character in a movie, where you know that, you know, a movie without that character, that the movie will not exist. For example, if the movie is Spider-Man, the main character there is Spider-Man, you realize that in the Spider-Man movie, if the Spider-Man is not there, then we do not have the Spider-Man movie. So it is something like that. So make sure that you identify your main ideas. Those ideas which really hold everything together, those are your main ideas. After that, establish supporting ideas which will help to give depth and make your main ideas to be more concrete. Okay, then after that, you should ask yourself, who is the audience? Okay, who are you writing for? We know that you will be writing this and it will be marked by your teacher. Okay, but then you need to ask yourself, for example, if we give you an assessment task for you to write a formal letter to a company, and then you ask that company to sponsor your school with computers, right? So who would you be writing to? You'll be writing to the CEO of that company. Okay, yeah, so that is what you'll be thinking about. Okay, do not think of your teacher as the audience. No, if you write a formal letter, your audience in this example would be the CEO of that company where you are asking for sponsorship. Okay, so that will be your audience. Therefore, you make sure that what you write, it will be in line, it will be aligned with the audience of your letter. And then myself as the teacher, what I will be doing will be to read, you know, to read, to assess your writing. Yes. And to see that if I was the CEO of that company, from what you have written, will I really agree to sponsor your school? Yes, something like that. Also, you should think of your purpose. You know, what is the purpose of your writing? Why are you writing what you are writing? You realize that these questions, they really help you to make sure that you do not off-ramp. Okay, why are you writing? Why are you writing that formal letter to the CEO? Are you writing it to try to impress him that you know English? No. Are you writing to ask for a sponsorship so that they can sponsor your school with computers? Yes. So that is the purpose you should be remembering. Whatever transactional text you write, you should remember the purpose of it. And then another thing is, you remember you should use formal language or informal language. Remember, with an exception for an informal letter where you write to your friend, you can use informal language there. Okay, yes, but only those popular phrases. And then you also need to think about the layout of your writing. Okay, if it is a letter, how will it look like? You know, would it have paragraphs? Would it be in verses? Would it be in point form? So it is important that you also think about the layout of your transactional text. The next step is drafting. So with drafting, you put your ideas you got when you're planning, you put them into writing. Okay, and then you also think about those facts and those ideas. Okay, you also think about the language you use. Are you going to use literal language, or are you going to use figurative language? And then how are you going to use it? Okay, so remember, when you use literal language and also when you use figurative language, you should make sure that which you are understood. To refresh your memory, literal language is that language where the words means exactly what they mean. So if right now I say laptop, so if right now I say I am presenting my lesson on my laptop, then that is what it is. Okay, I am being literal because what I'm saying is exactly what I mean. You can take my word by word that is what I mean. You know, even if you can see me right now, you will see that I am presenting this lesson on my laptop. Okay, but then if I can say something such as I am so hungry that I could eat a horse, then is that literal or figurative? That is figurative because we do not eat horses. I cannot be that much hungry that I can finish the whole horse, even if I was eating a horse. So that was a figurative language of some sort, because yes, it is a figurative language. Another example I can use, I can say South Africa won against Nigeria. Okay, so that is figurative language. Why? Because what I'm trying to say is that the South African soccer team won against the Nigerian soccer team. Okay, so it is not like 55 million of South Africans were on the field playing against the millions of Nigerian population, and then South Africa won. Okay, so yes, that is some things which you should be looking at. Again, will you use humor? If so, how? You know, would you write something funny or that? Okay, so that will really depend on the transactional text. For example, if you're writing a formal letter, please do not use humor. Remember, you are formal. Okay, I mean, have you seen anyone on TV? Have you seen a minister or the president on TV delivering a speech about something very, very important, and they make a joke? No. Why? Because they are talking about serious things. So even you with a formal letter, you can refrain from using humor. But with transactional text such as diary entry and informal letter, you can. Okay, but with some, you realize that you cannot use humor. So when you draft, pay attention also to the logical progression of your main ideas. Okay, make sure that they flow and that you can really follow them step by step chronologically. Okay, yes. Also pay attention to the logical progression of your supporting ideas. So that's very, very important. You do not want to confuse anyone by writing things which are not in chronological order. Step 4, this is where you edit and you proofread. So here you read what you wrote and you find out if it makes sense and if it communicates what you wanted to communicate. Okay, so this is a very big challenge. You know, as a person, you know what you want to write. That is no problem. The problem is what you are writing, will someone else take it the same way as you are writing it? Yes, that is the big question. Then again, ask a friend. Okay, if you are in class, ask a friend, your peer or your classmate to read what you wrote and find out if it makes sense. You know, give it to someone else, have them to read it and see if they understood the points and the ideas you were trying to communicate. Okay, after that, you can add then additional descriptions such as facts or examples if necessary. Okay, yes. So even so, when you do that, just ask yourself if you need to add anything, if there's anything that which could be good for you to add. If that is the case, then add, you know, add examples, add facts, add whatever that which you may need to add. Okay, make sure that what you have written makes sense. Also make sure to check the meaning, the sense, and the flow. Okay, check the layout of your writing. Is it good? Is it readable? Is it attractive? You know, I mean, if someone can look at it, can it really shout to them, read me, read me, read me? Okay, so that is the impression that which you are trying to give. Okay, especially with this text, especially when you grow up, when you're going to write your CV or your formal letters. Okay, many people write those things to the same company, you know, so therefore you should really make sure that yours stands out, that its layout is readable and it's attractive, that whoever sees it will want to read it. Okay, remember, read me, So whatever you are writing, it should really give that impression. It should really grab people's attention and interest for them to want to read. And if your transactional text has paragraph, please, it will be good for you to make sure that each paragraph has a topic sentence. Why? Because this will also help you when you read. You'll know that if maybe you have written 5 paragraphs and each paragraph has a topic sentence, from a topic sentence of paragraph 1, you know that, okay, paragraph 1 is about the color red. Paragraph 2 is about green. Paragraph 3 is about blue, you know, so that it really helps to make things easier for you and also for whoever will be reading what you are writing. Remember also to check your punctuation, check your grammar, you know, is your grammar correct? Did you use the present tense where you need to, you know, did you use the past tense where you needed to? Okay, remember, I mean, this is very important, you know. I mean, if maybe, for example, you wanted to write put in the past tense and you write puted, you know that's wrong. So then you need to, you need to read to know that, oh no, put doesn't have a past tense. The past tense of put is put, okay? It is not puted. There's no such thing as puted, you know? So yes, things like that is the things you need to look out for. Step 5, you rewrite. So here you write every idea logically to ensure that the transactional text is concise and coherent. So what does this mean? This means that your transactional text is concise. It means that it is to the point, okay? You do not need to drag anything to make a point, but you just to the point, okay? So for example, if you are telling me how, if you are telling me how to make tea, you don't say, you take the kettle, make sure the kettle is clean, put water in the kettle. You see that mark when you say 1.7 L, that is the maximum capacity of the kettle. So make sure the water is there, put the kettle on, plug in the kettle, and then wait. Okay, you can wait for the kettle, you can wait for it sitting down, you can go watch TV, you can play 2 songs, you can do this, you can do that. And then after that, when you see smoke coming out, when you see steam coming out of the kettle, just know it is boiling and the kettle is automatic, so it will turn itself off. After that, make sure that you turn off the plug and then unplug the kettle. Make sure that you know you do not burn. Take your cup, you know, you can use a yellow cup if you want because the favorite color is yellow. And then after that, put the cup there. Take your tea bags. I don't know which tea do you drink. Do you drink green tea, black tea, white tea, or maybe you love coffee or rooibos? Okay, since you love rooibos, you take rooibos, and then you decide whether to put in brown sugar or white sugar. Since you say you like sweet things, then you can use brown sugar. And then after that, you have an option to choose whether you use full cream milk or condensed milk or powder milk. And you also have to use which brand do you want to use, the one from the tuck shop or the one from the grocery store. And then after that, you decide whether you want to use the silver spoon or the plastic spoon. After that, you count the number of the grains you want, you do this, you do that, and then after that, you pour the water, you stir, and then you taste, and then that's, you see. So you see, by saying that, I mean, you have really said a lot of things that which are not necessary, you know, so that is not concise at all. So to be concise, you go straight to the point. So if you're teaching someone how to make tea, you tell them, boil water in a kettle, and then put the hot water in the cup, put your tea bag, your sugar, the amount of sugar you desire, the milk, and you stir. Then that's tea. Okay, so that is you being concise. You make sure that every important idea, every important step, every important thing is included, and everything which is not important is excluded. Okay, there are some things that which they are implied, and you do not have to say them. Okay, so if I say boil a kettle, well, if I say that boil water in a kettle, what I'm saying is that what I have implied is that before you put that kettle, before you plug it in, you should make sure that you've put in water in it first. Then you plug it in the wall socket. Then you put the plug on. You know, so that is implied. You do not have to say it. Make sure it is coherent. That means you make sure that all these facts, they go together, they flow. There is a sense of flow, that they are not isolated, although it may be different ideas, but then those ideas might point to the same thing. Okay, then step 6, that is when you are done, you know. Now you are ready to present your well thought and your well written out transactional text. So here you are done. So by this step, you would have realized that you didn't leave anything out. Okay, your work is neat. Your work is neat, you know, your work is neat, and all those mistakes, you have minimized them, you were able to eliminate and correct them, and then now it looks professional. It looks like something which will go to tomorrow's newspaper. Yeah. So that is what the process writing method was all about. So here are the steps once again. Focus on process writing method. We talked about planning, drafting, revision, editing, proofreading, as well as presenting. So unfortunately, this is the end of our lesson. Thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you so much. I hope everyone will enjoy their day. Keep well, take care. I will see you again tomorrow, same time, same place. Remember, if you have questions, there's the email you can use. Remember to stay home, stay safe, wash your hands, use a hand sanitizer. If you are going outside, please wear a mask and remember social distancing. Okay, all right. So let us keep well, take care, and we'll meet again tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye bye.